Hello, Mithril here once again, getting back to Mag Mammal 2, and it's time for the judge commentary on the last two stages of Tier 9. So, starting with 12th place, Flashman 85's Gutsman's Asteroid. Snow and Pyro. Really nice level. The whole plot of the level and the dialogue is really funny, and there were many moments that caught me by surprise, like the spaceship blowing up and Eddie. The mining theme of the level is pulled off really well, and there's a bunch of mining-themed gimmicks that are introduced well and in a safe environment, and the difficulty is properly ramped up. I love the usage of the drill man lights. It's a complete subversion of their intended use, and it's really neat. I was also very pleasantly surprised to see the napalm drills get usage too, considering their function in this game. Probably the only part I don't really like is the part with the drill man rocks, but I feel like that's less just it being not as good, and more just me being terrible at dealing with them. Yeah, you and me both. The boss was neat and funny, but I feel like the arena got a bit too cramped at times due to it having lots of Drillman rock spawners in it, but they're just some tiny complaints in an otherwise pretty great level, and it's overall super fun to play. Also, I found that hidden Yasichi heart. Hidden Yasichi. Was that maybe actually something behind the Eddie trap or something? Jupy Hornet. Man, who knew Dr. Light was so good at dry humor? Anyway, this was a pretty fun level. I really enjoyed the space challenge it provided. My main issue was the room where Eddie is just sitting there until he shoves an instant death drill in your face. That's not fair to the player because they won't see it coming. It's not terrible because there's a checkpoint in the same room, but it's still pretty annoying. A few sections towards the end went a bit crazy with the falling rocks too. The boss, on the other hand, was a super fun and unexpected fight against two Gutsmans. Or is it Gutsmen? Angel. Really cool journey. I like the progression in this level, going deeper and deeper into the asteroid. This level's use of the drills was pretty creative, and to be honest, I kinda wish it put more focus on them throughout. Eddie's secret weapon is the best thing ever, though. Sometimes I found the enemies to be pretty tricky to get to, or the rocks to be slightly too frequent to make it past safely, but aside from that, I really like their placements. I also like the little hidden secrets in this level, and the secret exit. Really cool level overall. Gariri. I found the concept of this level interesting and executed fairly well. Despite that, it just doesn't feel that interesting. However, I think I like the Easter eggs hidden throughout the level, and I like how you can finish this stage by just skipping the first mini-boss. Other than that, it's enjoyable, but that's about it. And Acebark. To the creator. You jerk. You absolute jerk. All the frowns. If you're reading this before you've played the stage, you'll know exactly what I'm on about as soon as you see it. I'm gonna guess the Eddie trap. Actually, all told, you made me laugh, a lot. This was fun for that reason alone, but you thankfully backed it up with some very solid level design and really nifty usage of dev kit assets. You turned what sounded like the most boring level and theme possible and put as much pizzazz as the dev kit assets let you. Your best feature, next to the humor, is you playing with players' expectations. You subvert it several times, and always left me wondering what you could possibly pull off next. You also did a pretty good job with gimmick conveyance, so even new players should understand what game mechanics they should expect out of you. I wasn't a big fan of the falling rocks, there's a few too many of them in spots which kills the pace, nor the noble nickel associated with the gimmick, but everything else was pretty darn spiffy. There was one or two iffy jumps, and the aforementioned jerk move that let you down a bit, but I think a lot of people are going to like this one. Also, hi Gutsman, you were used well, and that's great. To anyone playing this, find the second energy element. That shows this guy's commitment to the comedic arts. This stage was actually really good and really funny. I liked this one. I do agree though that the rock spawners were maybe used a bit too much and were a bit too fast, and I don't know why I was getting that thing to where sometimes they were like immediately dropping two rocks. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do about that, but overall this was a really good stage. I like this one. Very nicely done. And 11th place, Cruz Elroy's Sheriff Man. Snow and Pyro. What Tomahawk Man's stage should have been, to be honest. There's a lot of inspiration drawn from the stage, really, with the Coltons and the Wavy Sun and Proto Man showing up. The whole level just gives me serious Mega Man 6 vibes. It might just be the enemy choices. Speaking of enemies, those vultures are amazing and I want to see them used more, lol. The level itself is really great and fun to play, and I really love the tiny little details present, like how you had the saloons in the background and the wanted posters of Mega Man and Proto Man. The whole western vibe in the level is just really awesome, and the boss fight with Sheriff Man is very fun and fast-paced too, which is surprising because the boss is a shield user. The whole level is really just pure fun and I love it. It's a great level overall. It looks and plays fantastically and it feels very professional. Jupy Hornet. That was awesome. Seriously, I won't be surprised if this level makes the top 10. Just barely missed out on that. It really felt like something straight out of a Mega Man game. The backgrounds were awesome, especially the sunset with that heatwave effect. The gameplay was fun, and the enemies were fitting to the stage's theme. Those birds got annoying, though. I really liked the secret Proto Man encounter. You were the only person in the contest to do that. And of course the boss. Sheriff Man was a lot of fun to fight. It was a battle with fast-paced attacks that kept you on your toes without being too hard to learn. Fantastic job. Angel. Man, I absolutely love the frequent changes in the environment and how the level changes accordingly. I feel like the design, while cleverly built around the aesthetic, still somewhat suffers from it though. The level reuses a similar progression of hopping over pits and shooting different enemies throughout, which can get rather boring after a while. Some enemies near the end were placed in tricky positions, which made them hard to predict if the player doesn't know they're there, but aside from that, the level is fair and fun to play, and the boss is also a lot of fun to fight. Gariri. I really liked this one. The Western theme was awesome and the level was well built. I think there's a few moments that are slightly annoying or boring, but it's still very fun. Also, I really like the graphics and music in this stage. Nothing else to say here. And A-Spark. Man, so much effort put into what is ultimately quite the forgettable stage as far as design goes. There's so much right though, and to not praise you for what you did so right would be a sin. The boss was awesome, if a wee bit easy, and your sole other new asset, the buzzard, was brilliant. The tileset, music, and graphical flair of the stage, wow, stunning. This was really pretty, and your two new assets hit the Mega Man style completely. But then there's the rest. To put it simply, this is one long stage of nothing but enemies. It brings to mind memories of Woodman's stage. Mega Man at its best is more than that, with actual platforming challenges to maintain your interest. This stage really could have benefited from platforming gimmicks. This was a shame, and had you paid more attention to some of the other aspects of this level, we'd have a contender for one of the best stages in the game. I did have fun, and the level is solid, don't get me wrong, but objectively, from a design standpoint, I felt this was average, if a bit below average. I'll look forward to seeing the boss in the arena. Overall, I'm not really sure I agree with Ace's comments there, though in some other ways I do kind of agree. It's kind of 50-50 there. The stage, it could have been stronger, but I wouldn't call this one below average by any stretch. It was really nicely put together. It felt very professional. Like I said, it does kind of bring to mind Woodman that there's not really any platforming gimmicks per se, and it is just kind of a lengthy stage with enemies, but it is still a really solid stage, and it placed highly because of that. So yeah, maybe adding some gimmicks would have given it that push it needed, but still a really strong stage, and I look forward to what they might create in the future. But with that, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoy the series so far, and I shall see you again next time. Until then, fare thee well.